Good morning, crew, or it's actually afternoon when I'm making this video, but this was shot this morning, the 13th of December. And as you can see, we had a little snow last night, which was nice, and I couldn't help but go down and make the most of it and get in the river. I really love these kind of mornings. I know we talk about it a lot, but there's something about the snow and it's quiet, and I don't know, it's lovely. So in this video, I actually ended up in the water for about 10 minutes, which was not my aim, but I'm going to give you a spoiler here before I talk about other things. So about the time I was going to get out of the water, there was a merganser, a duck, swimming upriver towards me, and I was watching it, and I was just wanted to wait and see how far it came past me. And but as it was approaching, I heard this giant splash behind my head, and I think it was a mink that came swimming around the corner of the cement there and saw me, and then flipped over and splashed and swam away. I've got some video of it, so you can look at that and make the decision for yourself if you think it was a mink or something else. But it looks about the size of a mink to me, and the behavior, it's not clear at all. Anyway, and then I waited for the duck to continue to swim up past me before I got out. So it ended up being about 10 minutes. So yeah, it was a lovely soak. I love mornings like this, and it was actually a little difficult when I first got in. I was having trouble relaxing my jaw, and then I started to get distracted, and it worked out. But it was cold. Air temperature, as you saw, was right around freezing. Water temperature, I had the thermometer in, and I think it was something under 4 degrees, so like 3.7 or something like that. Basically the same as last time. Yeah, so it was a good soak. A couple other things that I wanted to briefly talk about. We did a observation on Schrodinger's scaffolding, and unfortunately Schrodinger's scaffolding is still alive and well. So yeah, no word from the scaffolders. It's still there. I tried to call them this morning our time, which is this evening their time, and they didn't answer the phone. So I had to send messages to the two different parties that are looking to rent the house, to let them know that there's a good probability that the scaffolding is still going to be there, and hopefully they won't. Hopefully they'll be okay with that. But it stresses me. Just the level of stress and anger that I'm starting to feel about this is not healthy. And the good thing is I can let go of it for periods of time. I mean, we are 6 months into this now, and it will end, and then it will be forgotten quickly. But it's just, I found myself this morning, after I found out the scaffolding was still there, which I didn't look at that until after I'd gone and done my soak, which is good. I found myself snapping at Sarah a couple times for just stupid little things. We're in the kitchen at the same time making food, and I'm just stressed about this, so I'm then taking it out on her, which is of course completely unfair. So yeah. Other things, I meant to talk about this in the last video and I forgot, but I've been working on my Welsh a lot. So I've been doing more Duolingo, that I had in the past, um, which is like it's a mediocre level of exposure to the language, which is better than nothing, and it keeps me coming back every day. The gamification of it keeps me coming back every day. But in addition, since we've gotten back from Wales for almost a month now, I've been listening to a lesson of Say Something in Welsh, um, uh, which is, I think, I know I have mentioned this, but, um, and I'm through lesson 6 now, and I listen to them over and over again until I feel like I can kind of move on. And I started out listening to them while I was working out, and honestly, that's more difficult. I don't know why it is. It's maybe the stress of working out, um, and then trying to remember while I'm working out, and I don't know. It's odd that it I found it harder. So I went to Sarah's method, and I play an old version of Diablo um, while I listen to it. And I found that interestingly, because I switched from listening to it while working out to listen to it while playing the game on lesson 5, and I found that um, I actually am using more of my brain on playing the game than I use my brain on working out, and so I'm not paying as close attention um, to what I'm learning in the language, and weirdly, uh, that's made it better. Um, and I'm kind of relying on repetition rather than memorization, than like brute force memorization, because the the repetition, it kind of pops into my head without thinking about it, which is a good thing, I guess. Um, but also, I found that and I don't know how this relates to other languages, but there's not simple words for I and you and he and she in Welsh. The context within which you're speaking changes those terms, and so you can't just learn um, the pronouns and then a few verbs and nouns, and then easily build sentences. Um, Largely because it's just there's these softening so that the way that words sound change. So merch for a woman becomes verch. Excuse me, that's for girl, depending on the context. Um, it's the lan versus shan. Um, uh, P's become B's. B's become F's, which sounds like a V. So you get changes in the sound, but then you also get, um, well, so for instance, actually, uh, Lyciani Lyciani Vindam Draw Evocti. Uh, no, Lycia. Anyway, it means something like, "Would you like to go for a walk with me?" Um, but mind is walk, and you say vind because it comes after an I sound. So there's all these um, little nuances, and that make it harder than Spanish. Um, for me, anyway, going from English to Spanish, going from English to Welsh is much more difficult. And so I'm just kind of letting it wash over me, which I've done to some degree anyway. But I am learning a lot, and I think for me the point of all this is that it's a long term effort. I'm not going to get it all right away. It's going to be there was the creature just came by me. I put in slow motion footage at the end that I'll just let you look at to see. So whatever that was that just splashed by me, I'm pretty sure that was a mink. Um, anyway, it's super interesting, and I've been thinking a lot about language, and I realized that there are plenty of people who've thought about this before, but I was thinking about the fact that the standardization of language, occurs when you start writing it down, and then you start thinking about it abstractly, and you start making rules. And Welsh, I think, because it's older and didn't have as much written early on, and has still continued to be kind of not a widely spoken language. Uh, the rules have not been standardized as much, which of course makes it a little more difficult. And there's the merganser swimming by me. So I've been watching this merganser for the last 5 minutes or something when I was in the river. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm feeling some satisfaction. And for me, it's really exciting to think, hopefully, in 2 months, 2.5 months, when we go back to Wales, I can be a little bit better, a little bit more conversant with our friends there. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope you have a good one. Bye bye.